Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into something huge,
Mm.
choosing your college major and minor. A big one.
It really is a decision that feels like it carries a lot of weight for students.
Totally. So we've gathered a whole bunch of articles, guides, even some university program details. Our mission, to pull out the best strategies, the key insights to help you navigate this.
Yeah, cut through the noise a bit.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, the sheer number of options, thinking about the long-term impact, it can feel overwhelming.
Exactly. We want to bring some clarity. We got stuff from Unfiltered Dose and HBO, best colleges, public service degrees.
That crash course video on choosing a major is in there too.
Right. Plus specifics on minors like statistics at Northwestern, strategic communication at UCF, strategy, leadership, and analytics at Tulane.
And insights from Heritage Foundation data, the College Board's Big Future Guide. A pretty wide net.
So let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
The major. It seems like the absolute core, doesn't it?
It really is. Think about it, typically a third, maybe even up to half of all your coursework. It's where you really build that deep expertise. A major investment, you could say, in your future professional self.
Okay, so the major's the deep dive. What about minors then? How do they fit in?
Well, minors are like complementary specializations, usually about, what, 5 or 6 upper-level courses?
Yeah, so like 1824 units, the sources said.
Right. They let you add another layer, another skill set. Think a marketing major who also minors in data analytics.
Ooh, yeah. That's a strong combo. You understand the message and the numbers behind it.
Exactly. It enhances your marketability, it provides those supplementary skills, and the data suggests it matters for performance too.
How so?
Well, one figure that popped up was 67% of students apparently do better academically when their major actually aligns with their interests.
Makes sense, right? If you enjoy it, you're probably going to put more effort in.
Precisely. Engagement is key. But here's something really interesting about flexibility.
Okay.
The average student changes their major at least once.
Wow, okay. So if you pick something and it's not quite right, you're not alone.
Not at all. It highlights the need to maybe not lock yourself in too rigidly from day one,
Yeah.
and there's a payoff for combining things smartly.
Yeah, like what?
Well, strategic major-minor pairings, some sources suggest they can make you significantly more attractive to employers, maybe around 89% more if they're looking for those interdisciplinary skills.
89%, that's huge.
Right.
Why do employers value that mix so much?
I think it signals adaptability, you know? Someone who can connect dots between different fields, approach problems from multiple angles. That's incredibly valuable in today's world. It suggests broader thinking.
Okay, so it shows you can think outside one specific box. Makes
Right.
sense. So how do you find that sweet spot, that right academic match?
Well, personal interest is a huge driver, as we said with that 67% statistic. You perform better when you're genuinely engaged.
Right.
So key factors to weigh up are, what are you naturally good at? What subjects actually excite you? What are your long-term career goals? And realistically, what are your income expectations?
And you also have to look at the specific colleges, right? Like how strong is their program in that area?
Absolutely. Program strength matters. And how flexible is the curriculum? Can you explore a bit? Remember, almost half of students change majors.
Yeah, that flexibility seems crucial. And graduation timelines too, I suppose. You don't want to add extra semesters if you could avoid it.
Exactly. It all fits together. For students who are really unsure starting out, liberal arts programs can be a good starting point. Broad exposure before you specialize.
Like a tasting menu for academics.
Kinda, yeah. Build a foundation first. And self-assessment tools might help point you in a direction. Myers-Briggs was mentioned.
Okay, but theory is one thing. What about actually doing stuff?
Oh, hugely important. Real-world exploration. Joining clubs, volunteering, part-time jobs, even side hustles.
Internships.
Definitely internships. These give you a real taste of what a field is actually like day to day, not just the idea of it.
Right. Does this career I think I want actually match the reality?
Precisely. You test the waters, see if your interest holds up when it gets practical, which leads nicely into the financial side of things.
Ah, yes. The money question. Can't avoid it.
Nope. And the sources are pretty clear. Major choice can significantly impact your earning potential, especially early on.
Like the STEM versus liberal arts gap.
Yeah, the heritage data pointed to STEM and business fields often having like 20–30% higher starting salaries.
Okay. What kind of numbers are we talking?
Well, for STEM grads, maybe around $65,000 right out of college, on average.
And when you think about student debt, the average is what? Around $37,000?
Exactly. So picking a major with decent job prospects and earning potential, It's just a practical consideration for managing that debt and getting a good return on your investment.
Makes sense. But it's not just the major, is it? The college itself matters. What should you look for there?
Good point. Key things to check. 4-year graduation rates. The national average is surprisingly low, like 45%.
Wow, less than half.
Yeah. But schools with strong advising can get that up to 70% or so. Also, job placement rates within 6 months of graduating. Aim for places hitting 80% plus.
Okay, what else?
Student to faculty ratio gives you a sense of potential attention. Elite schools might be around 12 to 1. And even administrative cost per student, lower figures, say under $3,000, might suggest the money's going more towards the education itself.
Why are those graduation and job rates so telling?
Well, their outcomes, right. They show if the institution is actually supporting students through to finishing their degree and successfully launching them into the workforce. It speaks volumes about their effectiveness.
Gotcha. Okay, let's loop back to minors. We know they add skills. How do you pick one strategically?
Yeah, strategic is the key word. It should complement your major, maybe fill in some gaps employers look for.
Like the IT person minoring in business.
Perfect example. Opens up management paths. So when choosing, ask, does it fit with my major and career goals? Can any course credits overlap? That saves time and money.
Oh, the overlap. That's smart.
Definitely. Also, what's the department's reputation? Does it give you marketable skills? And crucially, how does it affect your graduation plan? You don't want it to delay things unnecessarily.
That overlap thing, like at UCF allowing up to 6 credits.
Hmm.
That seems super efficient.
It is. It lets you broaden your skill set without necessarily adding extra semesters. Maximize your coursework.
Okay, so efficiency, skills, career goals.
Yeah.
Now, our sources mention some specific major-minor combos that are really high impact, especially with that 89% stat about employers liking interdisciplinary folks.
Right. That's a big number. So what are some powerful pairings?
Okay, how about business plus strategic management? Great for consulting or starting your own thing, builds that competitive analysis muscle.
Makes sense. What else?
Communications plus professional writing, builds a portfolio, sharpens technical communication, crucial skills. Then there's pairing STEM with, say, sociology, You get the technical chops plus an understanding of the human side, societal impact.
Interesting blend. Balancing tech with people.
Yeah. Marketing plus data analytics, almost essential now, right? Creative meets quantitative.
Definitely. Data drives so much marketing today.
And one more, computer science plus ethics. Super relevant with AI and all the tech governance questions popping up.
Absolutely critical. Why do you think these combos work so well in employers' eyes?
Well, like you said earlier, it signals versatility, right?
Yeah.
Ability to connect different areas, tackle complex problems that aren't just purely technical or purely soft skills. It shows a more rounded thinker.
Holistic understanding, yeah. And we even have details on some specific minor programs that illustrate this.
We do. Ohio State's professional writing minor sounds really practical. Technical writing, editing, grant writing, digital stuff, even an internship.
That's building real-world skills right there.
Totally. And Tulane Strategy, leadership and analytics minor, focuses on financial forecasting, ethical leadership, consulting skills using case studies. Very applied.
Nice. What about for the more quant-minded?
Northwestern Statistics minor. Looks pretty rigorous. 7 courses covering regression, experimental design, and crucially, using Python and R.
Ah, the actual tools data scientists use. That's key. Though it has math prerequisites, so you need that foundation.
For sure.
Yeah.
And UCF's strategic communication minor, focusing on using communication strategically for organizations. Persuasion, PR, digital platforms.
And you mentioned the credit overlap there is possible, too.
Yeah, up to 6 credits potentially. Again, adds value efficiently. These examples really show the depth a minor can add.
They really do. Targeted skills in a complementary area. Okay, so let's talk timelines. Getting all this done.
Right. The whole 4-year plan, we know only about 45% nationally actually manage that.
But good advising can boost that significantly, maybe up to 70%. So talking to advisors early and often is key.
Definitely. So timeline-wise, what do you need to keep track of?
Okay, deadlines for declaring your major, usually end of sophomore year. When should you declare a minor to make it fit? Thinking about potential major changes, remember, it's common, and how that impacts credits and time.
And if you're ambitious, like double majoring or multiple minors, understanding all those requirements up front.
Yes. And prerequisite sequencing. You need course A before course B. Mess that up, and it can cause delays.
So planning is essential. And seeking guidance, not just from advisors.
Right. Talk to people working in fields that interest you. Get that real-world perspective. It adds so much context to the academic choices.
That blend of academic advice and professional insight seems really powerful for making good long-term decisions.
It sets you up not just for graduation, but for what comes after, which brings us to that long-term success piece.
Yeah, it's not just about getting the degree. You got to think beyond that. How does the program set you up for a career?
Look for that immediate fit. Do you enjoy the subject? But also the long-term impact. Remember those schools with strong career support seeing 80% plus employed soon after graduation? That's a good sign.
And what can you do while you're still in school to boost career flexibility?
Good question. Focus on developing transferable skills, communication, problem solving, teamwork. Get internships aligned with both your major and minor, if possible.
Build relationships with professors in both departments, too.
Absolutely. Mentorship, network connections, maybe even do an interdisciplinary capstone project that pulls both fields together.
Showcase that unique blend.
Exactly. And join professional organizations. Start networking early.
Great practical tips.
Okay.
Shifting gears slightly, what about the student who's sitting there thinking, I have no idea what major I want? Or, I picked one, but now I'm having doubts.
First off, it's okay. Totally normal to be undecided when you start college. Lots of people are.
And colleges expect this, right? They usually give you time.
Yeah, often until the end of sophomore year. So you have time to explore, take different classes, see what clicks.
And changing your mind is common, too.
Very common. About a third of students switch majors. If you're thinking about it, the absolute first step is talk to your academic counselor.
Why is that so important?
They can help you understand the implications. Will it take longer to graduate? Will it cost more? What courses will transfer? You need that info to make an informed decision.
Right. Avoid unpleasant surprises later. So how do you explore if you're undecided or reconsidering?
Take intro courses in subjects that sound even vaguely interesting. Volunteer. Intern. Go to campus events, like talks by professors or guest speakers.
Talk to people.
Yes. Talk to students in different majors. Talk to professors. Talk to people working in careers you find intriguing. That crash course video suggested getting advice from people whose careers you admire. Great idea.
What about things like pre-med or pre-law? Are those majors?
Good clarification. No, they aren't majors themselves. They're more like advising tracks or programs to make sure you take all the specific courses required for med school or law school applications.
So you could major in, say, history and still be pre-med.
Absolutely. Or English and pre-law. Your major can be something else entirely, as long as you fit in those prerequisites. Offers flexibility.
Okay, that makes sense. So one last look at minors before we wrap. Why are they ultimately valuable?
They let you personalize your degree, Add your own unique spin. Diversify your learning.
And that interdisciplinary benefit again, connecting two areas.
Exactly. It genuinely informs your thinking in richer ways, and it signals to employers that you have breadth as well as depth.
But the key is choosing wisely.
Choosing wisely. Making sure it complements your skills, fits your goals, and works with your overall plan. It's about creating synergy.
Synergy, I like that. Where the combination is greater than the sum of its parts.
Precisely. Your major gives you depth. The minor adds breadth and connection. It creates a more compelling skill set overall.
Okay, so let's recap the big takeaways from this deep dive. Aligning your studies with your interests. Really important for doing well.
Definitely. And strategic planning around majors and minors seriously impacts your college journey and career path.
Those interdisciplinary combos. Employers really value them. Blending fields makes you stand out.
And don't be afraid to explore, ask for guidance from advisors and professionals, and importantly, adapt if your initial path needs adjusting. It's normal.
So the final thought we want to leave you with is this. Really consider that dynamic interplay. How can your major and your chosen minor work together? How can they synergize to build a unique skill set that sets you apart and prepares you for a future you're genuinely excited about?
It's a journey of discovery, really. And these academic choices you're making now, they're the building blocks for whatever you aspire to achieve.